Okay, $19 Fortnite card. And yes, I'm giving it away. Remember, share, share, share.
Ha! Guys, what's up? It's a Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do an album review on the latest Black Country New Road album for the first time. This is their debut album. Black Country New Road is a post-rock / post-punk band formed in London in the recent years, and this is their debut album, and this album is one of the most hyped up albums of 2021, one of the most anticipated releases. Black Country New Road. After, at the end of 2019, they released Sunglasses, which is this really long and strange, a bit of post-punk spoken word madness. And the hype is even stronger when they released Science Fair in 2020, which also ended up in my top 50 favorite songs of the year list. It's so stiff, angular, and strange, and it has such emotional climaxes. It is quite fantastic. And finally, after a lot of rumors of their live performances being amazing, we finally have the debut album, which is 6 tracks long, but 6 really solid tracks. This album, however, is not perfect in my opinion, and there are actually some people complaining about them changing several song lyrics and instrumentation of different tracks in the album version versus in the single / live version of these tracks. While I'm not too upset about these changes at all, I do think that these changes have changed things, of course. So, the album starts off with Instrumental, which is kind of an odd choice for a post-punk / post-rock band to start off their discography with, especially given how hyped up this album is. You'd think it would be a weird idea to start off your album with an over 5 minute long sort of southeastern European-esque instrumental bit, but here we are. And the instrumental track in and of itself is actually not bad. We have the rambling hand drums, the very busy, bustly keyboards, and it keeps on looping itself again and again. We get these really flavorful descending saxophones and these really worrisome guitars. The whole thing is actually really well produced. It sounds amazing. It sounds crispy clear. The drums are profound, and the instrumentations, the way it's layered, it is fantastic. Again, it's a little bit weird for a band like Black Country New Road to start off with this instrumental, but it's still a really good track. Maybe not the best intro of an album ever, but still a really good track. Next up, we have the long-awaited, much talked about Athens France. And it is a track that I've been pretty on the fence with ever since I have heard this track, because this song, it's like 2 different songs but put together in one. And it's not like I've never listened to anything like this before. Of course I have, but in a way I much love certain parts of the song, and then other parts I just find kind of bland, unfortunately. For the first 2 minutes of this track, we get these really repetitive and odd and angular guitar licks, and then these very sour and intense guitar tones, which are amazing and incredibly captivating. These very sour guitar tones almost remind me of Good Morning Captain off of Slint's Spiderland, which is definitely one of the best tracks ever, in my opinion. And so I love these guitars. But after the 2 minute mark, it just breaks down into this really sad, barren, almost directionless instrumental bit, which in and of itself is not bad at all, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like a complete departure from the original angular, stressful guitars. We have some really interesting lyrics as well, where it starts off with "She flew to Paris, France," and then we have the lyrics, which actually changed a bit from the single version. We have "She loves pop culture. She has 'Thank You Next' stuck in her head." Also, she tries to fuck me, so I pretend that I'm asleep or that I've slept, but now it's changed, but it still has a similar context to it, and that is it's almost like the song is describing a her at the beginning, but then for the rest of the track, it's sort of about Isaac Woods, the frontman of the band, Isaac Woods' own struggles being in the musical scene that he is in right now. And of course, the instrumentals swell back up and return to the very stressful guitar state of the first leg of the track, but still, I think overall this track feels a little blander than I would have liked it to not be. Then we have the track Science Fair, and like I've said, Science Fair is a fantastic song. I absolutely love it. The mathematical percussion, the distorted guitars, and the very worrisome and kind of strange, kind of like sci-fi almost saxophones and horns. And we have the instrumental sort of toning down, setting the stage, and Isaac comes onto the stage and performs his part of the story, where he says he met a girl accidentally in a Cambridge science fair, and he impressed her a lot by making anything catch on fire, but he was covered in methane gas bubbles, and she ended up burnt. And he kept on saying how he's sorry for being a liar. And then it gets more and more stressful, and we enter the second half of the song with these really chaotic, just wailing, just uncontrollable instrumentals just darting left and right. And then we get these very angular and strange synths, just where we enter the second part of the track, where Isaac talks about how he sees her again in Cirque du Soleil undressing, and he was sort of in a trance, and then suddenly he woke up, he felt the rubbing of the shoulders and the children crying, and still with sticky hands, he bolted through the galleries. Again, really odd lyrics, and really fantastic, really vivid as well. And these lyrics, they're so overly specific. They actually kind of remind me of the lyrics off of, I don't know, a Car Seat Headrest album, where the lyrics are so overly specific, it's almost kind of comedic. And of course, we have the track Sunglasses, and this track is almost 10 minutes long, even though it doesn't have the anger and the disgust and the emotional potency that the single has. I still really much enjoy the track. The first half of the track is sweet, it's stable, and it has these lyrics about the girl being super rich. His dad is, thanks to his dad, courtesy of Big Pharma, or in the song, courtesy of the pig. And we have the second half, where it's almost like the song evolved backwards. Instead of having a resolution to that, it's almost like not having a resolution and just being in total state of ignorance and arrogance, where the main character of the track wears the sunglasses, and he or she is like, I'm wearing sunglasses and my eyes are so beautiful, but I wish you could tell, but you can't tell because I'm wearing them, and wearing sunglasses, making yourself feeling super invincible. And it's great, it's chaotic, the beeping trumpets is really cartoonish and really fun, the stiff guitars are amazing as well. Overall, still a really great track. We also have the track X, which is nearly 5 minute long, almost an interlude kind of cut. And it was also a single. When I first heard it, I thought it's just okay, but given that this track is placed after 3 really lengthy and stressful spoken word pieces, the placement of this track actually justifies this track. I really like how dreamy and soft it feels. The layered guitars are arranged beautifully, the bloopy clarinets and the strings are amazing, and I just thought in this placement, it makes a lot more sense. We have lyrics where it's essentially Isaac talking to a girl. I said I love you in front of Black Meaty. And then the final track is Opus, which is fantastic. It sounds like the most fire Turkish wedding in history. It starts off like a funeral band with incredibly dejected horns and guitars, and then it really builds up to something incredibly energetic and exciting and intense. Then we have the verses that are really sad and dejected again, but this time it doesn't feel bland because they would lead back up to these very energetic climaxes very, very smoothly and fiery. It's just pure fire. This track is on fire. And the ending is just super chaotic. All hell breaks loose. And it is a fantastic track overall. So, yeah, Black Country New Road for the first time. Sure, it's not the most groundbreaking thing ever. It has a lot of influences from Slint. I mean, they even said it themselves on the track Science Fair. I mean, they call themselves the second best Slint tribute act. And some people may also point out Swan's influences, even though I don't see that many Swan's influence on this album, but I would see why. I mean, on the track Opus, it's a little late Swansy. It's a little, just a little. But I think overall, the great lyricism, the very intense, panicky performances by Isaac Woods, the very layered and interesting choice of instrumentation is all really fantastic and really well produced. And it's not perfect, but I still enjoy it a lot. My favorite track here is Science Fair, and my least favorite is probably Athens, France. I'm giving Black Country New Road a strong 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to Black Country New Roads for the first time? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching.